3, 2, 1.
Okay. My first job was at a Payless shoe source in a mall. I was 18 years old when I got hired there. The only reason I ended up working there was because my friends pushed me to get a job. And one day I was walking down the mall with one of my friends, and she pushed me to kind of start looking at places to work. So as we were passing the Payless there, she told me to apply, that there was a hiring sign. Sure enough, the manager was right at the front of the store. So I walked in and I asked for an application, and he asked me when I was available. I pretty much told him I could start the next day. And so he gave me everything I needed in order to apply. And sure enough, they gave me an interview the next day. But they didn't tell me that there were 2 Paylesses that were really close to one another, and they ended up sending me over to the wrong one. When I got there, they told me, no, this isn't the right place. Like, I think you need to go to the other one, which was pretty far from the one I was at. So I ended up showing up a little late, and I met with the regional manager. Lucky for me, though, he was very nice, and so he interviewed me, and we hit it off, and he gave me the job. I started, I believe, the next day, and I ended up working there for about 6 years. I did full-time for my bachelor's, and I did full-time at Payless, so I was doing full-time for both. I got to meet a bunch of wonderful friends that till now I still hang out with. One of them is actually my best friend, and we still hang out every so often. While I was working there, I pretty much learned everything you could about customer service. I learned how to stock merchandise, how to fill out our inventory books, how to do pretty much everything that entitles working there. And it gave me like a newfound respect for everybody that works retail. The first manager I ended up working with was actually a male. He was really nice, but was really pushy with things. Luckily, the second manager that came around was a female. She was really nice. She always made sure that no matter what I had coming up for school, she would always just be able to tweak the schedule to kind of help me out, and I wouldn't be struggling with work in school. I recently heard that they were closing the Paylesses. Every Payless should be closed by May 2nd, and just kind of it was kind of bittersweet to know that like the place that I worked at for so long is closing. And like, yeah, I can't believe it's been that long that I worked there.
You're at 3 minutes.
Oh my God. That was so long.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I'm not pushing stop broadcasting. Your next topic, so you have 10 minutes.
Okay.
And your next topic is my favorite vacation. And you can start praying now.
Okay, I'm actually ready.
Perfect. Okay, let me get ready. And where is that? Okay, we'll start in 3, 2, 1.
My favorite vacation was in Mexico. We actually ended up going that year because my parents renewed their vows, and we started a new tradition where every year we would go to this all-inclusive resort in Ixtapa, Mexico. I have a huge family, like huge, and we ended up renting this huge bus, like a Greyhound bus, and filled it entirely with not even all of my family. It was like a quarter of my family. And we ended up taking off to this inclusive resort. That year I actually invited 2 of my friends to the wedding. So I got to have my friends there, and I got to enjoy it with my family. At the resort, you pretty much got a wristband and got to enjoy like everything available to you there. So there was like free drinks. It was free all-inclusive meals, 3 of them a day. And at night, every night they had a different theme for this little club they had in there. They had a 24-hour little snack bar that you could go to. Well, pretty much we spent the next 3 to 4 days in the pool, at the beach taking pictures. We actually had a big group of cousins there that year. So what we did was that we ended up all, not scuba diving that year, but we ended up doing the water skis. So there were 2 of us each on a water ski. That time I got paired up with my brother. Well, if you guys don't already know, it's warm waters out there. So we ended up spotting a couple of sharks, and it was pretty interesting to see everybody's reaction. My brother almost jumped off of the water ski, but luckily I kept my cool and we enjoyed it while we were there. Got back safe and sound. That year, I believe I was celebrating my 26th birthday, and my brother was celebrating his, I can't even recall what birthday it was, but we're both on the same birthday month. So they ended up getting us a cute little birthday cake, and everybody, including staff from the resort, sang us happy birthday that year. And it was really fun to get to celebrate it with him because we never really used to do that. Well, one of those nights we also took off from the resort to this club that was down the street. It wasn't one of the best clubs that you should go to because back in those times it wasn't really safe to be out and about so late, but we risked it thinking, you know, we're all young and whatnot. We actually ended up having a really good time. We met a couple people there. They bought us drinks like crazy, and yeah, pretty much enjoyed the whole time we were there.
Perfect. All right. So your next topic is first year of college.
Okay. I remember my first year of college. It was like that far.
Well, then your first year that you can remember of college, and your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay. Oh, man. I don't remember. It's been that long. Okay. Okay, let's do this.
Okay, let me put this in, and then we will start. Wait, are you all ready? Is that what you're meaning? Okay, okay. Let me stop this, pause, stop work, reset. All right. Also, I feel like I'm really bad at taking this data, and you guys are gonna like take it, and then the data is gonna be like awful. Okay, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I ended up attending California State University of San Bernardino. I live in Riverside, so that is it would take me about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic, to get there. I ended up applying there because a couple of my friends ended up going. We were all going for psychology. So it was really fun to know that I was going to have friends in that class that we can kind of just support each other, because we all went to school together, and it was something that we were like all passionate about. So it was great to see that we could all just be there together. Little did I know that it was going to be one of like the windiest, coldest places in the Inland Empire. So it was always interesting to get to school on those really windy days and not know whether or not they were going to cancel class. We made sure to attend every class, but there were days where we would literally get to campus and they would send in a text message letting us know campus is closed. It was to the point where I think we even saw like a tree land on a car. Yeah, it was really interesting. My friends and I were there for about 3 years before we graduated, and we literally spent every year with each other and attended every class. Oh my God, I'm trying to think. What else? It was kind of funny to see that once we all graduated and got our diplomas, we all ended up going into different fields in psychology. One of us is studying to be an MFT. The other actually went into business psychology, so she is working for a big company right now. And I ended up working for an ABA company. which I always wanted to do because I wanted to work with kids. So I took all the courses that you could take that related to working with kids, as well as all those fun abnormal psychology classes. I actually took law psychology as well, which was really fun. I actually didn't even know that much about ABA. I took behavior modification course, and I actually didn't do so great in it. So it's pretty interesting to see that I actually ended up, working for an ABA company and getting as far as I have. And now that I'm in this master's program, it's pretty interesting to see that something that I didn't do so great in, I'm actually like super passionate for now. And I wish I could go back a couple years to just kind of relive those experiences, but overall, I'm just glad that I graduated and I got to.
You're at 3 minutes.
For this great company that I work for now. Okay, done.
Okay. Perfect.
That one was tough. All right.
All right. You're doing like a fantastic job. Okay, the next one is, have you ever had a pet?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your first pet.
Okay.
And your 10 minutes starts there.
Okay. I'm
ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Pause that. Erase that. And we will start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay. The first pet, and I consider her my first because she was actually my pet, was this cute little brown Chihuahua I had. I got her when I was about 14. I remember this was back in the day when they had the penny saver out, and there was the section for puppies that you could just kind of like look through, and people were selling all types of breeds of dogs. And I would constantly like tear out the ones that I was interested in, and I would give them to my dad. And one day, I think I just got him fed up with asking him and showing him all these clippings that he gave in and told me, okay, let's check it out. Which one do you want? So I found her, and we ended up calling first of all, and the owner said that, yeah, they still had her, or they still had a couple actually. And we ended up driving over there. Well, it was like love at first sight when the guy let us kind of go into their backyard and look at the puppies. And right away, she was the one. I told him, I was like, I want her. He was like, are you sure? You don't want to look around? I'm like, nope, I want her. We ended up paying $200, which back in the day was like, oh my God, to my dad. And we took her home. At that time, we lived in the small apartment complex. It literally was like a 2-bedroom, living room, little kitchen, little dining room area. And so she wasn't the quietest. I don't know if you guys know about Chihuahuas, but they are always barking at anything and everything. So eventually the manager actually ended up finding out that I had a puppy, and they weren't okay with anybody having any pets, even though people would always kind of sneak them and have them at home. Well, he gave my dad an ultimatum about me getting rid of the puppy. I love my dad for this because he actually was already considering leaving there. And he was like, nope, I'm not having her give up her puppy. And he gave him his notice that we were going to move. At that time, we actually ended up getting a house here in Riverside. So it was just kind of, I guess, that driving point that was just telling my dad, okay, let's do this. Let's move. So we moved. We ended up bringing her along with us, and we had a big old backyard where she could run. I would go to school and I would get home, and she would come over to me and literally take naps with me. I'm a big napper, or I was before my son, but I'm a big napper now. So, I mean, I was a big napper then. So she would come with me, and she would literally pass out with me for hours. They literally called her like my spirit animal, because she would literally run up to me the moment I got home from school, knowing I was going to go straight to bed. Well, a couple years later.
We're at 3 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Done.
Okay. All right. Your next topic is going to be if you could choose to do anything for one day, what would you do? And your 10 minutes starts right now.
What was it again? If I could choose to do anything, what would it be?
Yeah, for one day.
For one day. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, hold on, just 1 minute.
Okay.
Oh, we're already on the 5th one. We're like moving along.
Yay. How many did we say we're doing? 6?
Yeah, 6. So we have one more after this.
Okay.
Okay, hold on, just 1 minute.
Oh, my son's crying. Give me 1 sec.
Okay, you're fine.
Okay. All right. Back.
And let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, we'll start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, if I could choose one thing I could do for the entire day, I would travel to Paris. In high school, I took 3 years of French, and although I didn't really learn much, I always wanted to go to France and experience what it would be like. That's definitely on my bucket list. So I would, if I didn't have to worry about the flight and how long it was, I would take off to Paris. I would go and do everything I could touristy for that day. I would go to the Eiffel Tower. I would walk around the streets and get to meet people. I would stay at a nice little cafe all day long if I could. I would definitely eat the croissants that they had to see if they're really as big of a deal as everybody says. One of the things I would definitely not do would be eat escargot because, yeah, no, not about the snail life. I would also take my family with me so we could spend the entire day there. I'm not sure if that's a place where they would see themselves going, but that would definitely be our place to go. Oh my God, this one's hard. I would, oh my God. Let's see. I would not just stick to Paris, but I would take off to Spain from there, pretty much do all those countries nearby. So go off to Spain and visit all those, do all the touristy things there. I would also want to go to Italy and visit the Leaning Tower of Pisa or whatever it's called, I would want to take that big train that takes you along all of these countries because I never actually been on a train before. So that is another thing on my bucket list that I would want to do if I could do for the day. I have heard of hostels. I actually went to one here that wasn't so great, but I've heard that the ones that you find in Europe are pretty nice. So I would want to go visit a hostel while I was there, stay a couple nights. Well, if it would only be for the day, just maybe visit one and see what they look like. I would try to eat everything and anything pasta over there because I've heard that they have really good pasta in Italy. I would want to try out their pizza, see what it tastes like.
You're at 3 minutes.
Oh my God, okay. Good. That one was tough.
All right. Last one.
Okay.
And I forgot the topic, so let me think of something really quickly.
Make it an easy one.
Also, who copied all these in there? Because like they're amazing. If somebody was like,
I think Paul might have, because I was asking how you do it, and I couldn't figure it out because I went and found them too.
Well, it's super nice because I haven't had to copy or delete or anything on there. So thanks, Paul. Okay. Let me think of a topic. What do you think about the topic of if you could change one thing about you, what would you change and why?
I don't know if I could do 3 minutes of that.
Okay, let me find something different. What about let's do what hobby would you get into if time and money weren't an issue?
Okay.
Is that a good one? And your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, hold on just 1 minute.
Are you putting like plus or minuses or like 1?
I'm putting a 1, and if there's more, then I'm just putting another 1.
Okay, perfect.
On there.
That's what I was doing too, but then I put pluses just because I wasn't sure.
I think that's fine. 1 was just easy, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll do 1, 1, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop this and go to the stopwatch. Reset. You ready?
Yep.
We will start in 3, 2, 1.
If I could pick a hobby and I didn't have to worry about money or time, I would want to do photography. I find myself to be that person that can always take really great pictures of other people, but when I have people take pictures of me, they can't. So I feel like that would be something I would really love to do. I love kind of telling people like what their best pose is, or just try different like poses that might work for them. I have a friend or a couple friends that actually do photography for parties, and I get to see all of like the really cool results that they come up with using like all the new technology that people use for photography. I would definitely want to learn all that and be able to apply it myself. I also just had my baby, so I did a maternity shoot that I really loved. It was actually my mom's, one of her best friends that did the maternity shoot for us. She was really great at making sure she got all these awesome angles, and she did all these amazing poses that, I don't know, it made me kind of just glad that I got to take those pictures to kind of reflect back on now that I'm no longer pregnant and have my little one. So I want to be that person for other people. I want to be able to capture their memories and be able to do parties, photography, maternity shoots, any kind of fun photography shoot that I can. I also love landscape shoots that I've seen before. I live around the mountains where it's really pretty. When it snows, that would definitely be one of the places I would love to go photograph. There's also a really pretty poppy field that popped up this year in Lake Elsinore that everybody's taking pictures at. So I definitely would put that as one of the places I would want to go do photography. Like we said, this would cost a lot of money. So if I could do the hobby without having to worry about financing any of it and I could get any type of fancy camera or fancy equipment, that would definitely be something I would want to do. I also love anything Polaroid. Before these cute little Polaroid cameras came out, I actually had one of those old school ones, and I would literally spend all my money buying film for it, which is very expensive. So it would be great to be able to take advantage and use that as often as I could and have those actual instant pictures at my disposal. I would really look forward to taking pictures every day and just kind of go around capturing these memories of my family, my friends, or just for fun, anything out in the land, like anything out and about in front of me.
You're at 3 minutes. Okie dokie.
All right.
Oh, I'm going to stop this broadcast.